Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to look at a question from the question paper of November 2024, whereby we are going to look at question 2 on that question paper. So our question 2, the first question that we have reads, who is responsible to pay on behalf of the employees? And pay stands for pay as you earn, and it's an income tax. So we're going to see that the employer is responsible for paying a payee on behalf of the employees. So on 2.2, name and explain the two different concepts of power. We are going to see that the two different concepts of power that we have, we've got expert power and charismatic power. So if you go to our answer section, to see that the first that we have is expert power. And expert power basically um, describes the ability an employee has, regardless of seniority. So the ability that the employee possesses obviously is the expertise in a particular subject or situation. So, but it's regardless of the seniority of that employee. So, that's what we have in terms of expert power, but we also have a further explanation that we have according to uh, our video, which is that the ability to influence others by means of your superior knowledge, skills, and abilities. So that's the expertise that we are trying to point out. Then I also have charismatic power, and charismatic power, basically, we are saying is the ability of a leader to inspire and influence their followers. So we have got the issue of influencing and inspiring through their exceptional personal qualities and their vision. So basically, that's what we have. And then the explanation that we have here is the ability to influence others because of personal traits and characteristics. So you see that personal traits are basically are characterized as qualities that help define you as a unique individual. So basically, those are personal traits. So I'm moving on to the second question that we have. It reads, um, you are asked to help a ShopRite human resource manager to recruit the best qualified truck driver among the internal staff. Name and discuss 7 practical steps of selecting the best qualified truck driver. So basically, this is a recruitment process that we are going to go through in terms of the steps that you need to follow. So you are going to see that the first one is consists of initial interview. So on the initial interview, we've got the human resource office having the contact details of all its employees on a database. She or he can send the email to all prospective candidates. So if you go back to the question, you see that the question is saying um, you are recruiting the best qualified truck driver among the internal staff. So obviously, the details of all the staff that are going to be, or all the prospective candidates that are going to be there, are there in in that workplace. So obviously, they have the contact details. So it's a matter of just contacting them. So if we come here, you see that the second point that we have is that HR can identify those with the necessary driver's license and phone them to find out if they are interested in the post. So very important to make sure that you consult from the respective prospective candidates that if they are really interested in the position that is there. So that is what we have on the first step. Second step is it consists of application forms. So the prospective truck driver must bring the application forms in the format of CVs to HR office. So basically, this is now the application process whereby they have to bring the CVs. So the CV must include personal information and certified copies of qualifications. The HR office must select the best applicants and call them for interviews. So that's when now, upon a handing of application forms, that's when um, the potential candidates can now be called. Those who have been selected from the application forms can now be called for an interview. So we know we have got the interview. On the interview, we are saying that the manager needs to compare questions that are going to be asked in the question in the interview, and the panel needs to be established. They will ask the questions and score the applicant. So that's what we have on that part. And then after the interview, we obviously there are some that are going to be selected, some are going to remain behind as they are not going to qualify after the interview. Obviously, they are going to fail the interview. Then after that, those who have passed, they will move on to the test. So successful candidates from the interview needs to be tested whether they can drive and the types of trucks Shoprite is using. So this is now the practical testing that is now ongoing as they are being tested if they can actually drive. So the truck drivers need to be tested on the experience of driving by practically allowing them to drive the cargo under supervision of an experienced driver. So that's what we have on test. Then after test, we have got approval by supervisor. So obviously, we need someone who know how to drive. Obviously, in that workplace that is going to make the final selection. So approval by supervisor. We are saying the supervisor is part of the recruitment process. Given the supervisor's experience, he or she must take an informed decision to select the best truck driver. So very important. Then after that, we've got physical examination. We are at this point we are trying to see if the selected candidates are really fit to do the job. Remember, this is driving, so obviously you need someone who is fit as someone is going to drive for long distances. Physical examination, the candidates need to undergo a physical examination since they will drive for long hours to ensure the applicant is physically and mentally fit. Then we have got induction. So on induction, basically remember when we are now doing a job induction, it involves onboarding new employees and providing um, crucial information to help them adjust to their new roles. That is a job induction. So that's at the point that we are. It becomes the last point is we are making the employee who is qualified to familiarize with the new job. So we are saying a first point, successful applicant must be appointed on promotion, needs to be oriented about the culture of the organization, and need to work under supervision to be more productive. So that's what we have on that part, and that becomes the end of that recruitment process. And then we move on to the next question. The next question reads, discuss the three questions that should be asked in an ethical check. So you'd see that the word ethical or the word ethic, it means a moral code that guides the behavior of employees with respect to what is right and wrong. So basically, to be able to differentiate between right and wrong, this describes ethics. And obviously, you need to do what is right, and you don't have to do something which is wrong. So being ethical is doing what is right. So basically, it's regarding the conduct of an employee. So going back to our question needs three questions that should be checked in an ethical way. So you see that we have got those questions that we have the other section whereby we're saying the first question is it illegal? Meaning is it allowed? Then secondly, will I be violating the laws of the country? Is it balanced? Do my decisions comply with the policies and procedures of the business? You see that all the questions are being based on what is right or wrong. How will it make me feel about myself? So obviously, if it makes you feel better, it's the right thing. So that is what we have at the end of the day. So those are the questions that we have. Then moving on to the last part, which is saying list and explain briefly the different types of departments. So to that departments, basically they are separate divisions of an organization. That's a department. So we have those divisions outlined in the other section whereby we're saying we're talking about functions which are formed to accommodate different business functions like marketing and operating functions. We also have departments in terms of product, whereby we have different products that are being offered in that business. In this example, in this scenario, we are given examples of who is food, and then we have got also who is clothes. And then we can also have departments in terms of customers, whereby we subdivide the customers that we have. Business is divided into customers needs, for example. We have got USAFE for lower earning customers and those for higher earning customers. So that's what we have gained on customers as a department. Then we've got time also. Business operations are divided into terms of shifts like night shift staff and day shift staff. So this becomes the last part that we have according to this video. Thank you for listening, and hopefully the video was helpful. Let's meet again in the next video.